Hello, Mark Lordley on Home Loans. Today we're going over everything you want to know about the FHA flipping rules and exceptions. Ignoring a little-known FHA flipping rule can stop a purchase in the tracks. A property flip involves investor purchasing a home, probably making improvements, and then selling for a profit. If you watch HGTV at all, it's easy to see that people make a great living doing this. Plus, they deliver amazing work, but there is a dark side to property flips in the eyes of mortgage loans. This is especially true with FHA. If you're a buyer, hopefully your lender and realtor understand the FHA flipping rule guidelines. FHA flipping rules explained. Mortgage lenders define a property flip as a home that has been owned a short period of time, then sold for a sizable profit. The reason FHA and lending agents care about this relates to possible fraud. Keep in mind that this says possible. Most property flips are legitimate. When properties increase dramatically in price and value with practically nothing being done, that's where it can be dicey. Furthermore, many flipping schemes involve key parties in mortgage business, appraisers, and other industry professionals that use false information to make the purchase work. Most concerns involve either the value or straw buyers. Straw buyers are buyers who are buying with no intention of living in the property and often buy at an inflated price to profit the seller. Now you know why. FHA created this rule. HUD breaks down the FHA flip rule into two time periods, less than 90-day ownership and then 91 to 180-day ownership. FHA Rule 2018 calculations. To determine the above ownership time periods, the clock starts when the deed recording date, the date in which the seller takes ownership. The next important date is the signed purchase agreement date and FHA case file assignment date. In order to clear the first flip date requirements, both the signed contract date and the FHA case file ID must be assigned 91 days after the seller's deed recording date. Finally, to clear the second rules period, 90 to 180 days, both the purchase agreement and the FHA case number must be 181 days later. But how does FHA treat purchases within these date ranges? That is where realtors, buyers, and sellers need to pay attention to avoid costly mistakes. FHA 90-day flip rule. Now that we have established the two date ranges, let's discuss the most restrictive, less than 90-day flip rule. FHA will not allow financing of homes considered a flip less than 90 days from deed recordation date. Without FHA insurance, the loan is not possible. Now there are certain transactions and sellers that are excluded from the 90-day rule. These are explained later in this video. Occasionally, realtors or investors ask about the FHA flip waiver rule. Regretfully, the FHA waiver expired at the end of 2014. FHA flipping rule 91 to 181 days. What if the property has cleared the 90 days, but it falls within the 91 180 period? The period allows for sale of the property for FHA finance, but there's a possible second appraisal requirement, and FHA will not allow the buyer to pay for it. So, if the resale is between 91 to 180 days and the new purchase price is 100% or more over the price paid by the seller, a higher price loan, and the purchase price is more than 20% over the seller's acquisition price, then the second appraisal is required. Here's an example of the 100% over prior price. If the seller paid $100,000 for a home and is selling it for $200,000, the second appraisal would be required. The mortgage lender must determine the last requirement. Prevent appraisal delays and extra costs. FHA flipping rule, second appraisal. Here are the FHA rules in regards to the second appraisal. One, must be from a different appraiser. Buyer may not pay for the second appraisal, must include documentation to support increased value. A lower value is used if the second appraisal is 5% lower than the first appraisal. The lender must obtain a 12-month chain of title documentation, resales. Furthermore, FHA could require additional documentation such as a second appraisal if the date is between 91 to 365 days and the resale price is 5% or greater than the lowest sale price of the property within the prior 12 months. This is rare, but it could happen. FHA rule flipping exemptions. Finally, it is possible to skip these guidelines. FHA flipping rules exclude certain transactions from FHA flip rule guidelines, including properties acquired by an employer or a relocation agency in connection with the relocation of an employee, resales by HUD under its real estate owned program, sales by other U.S. government agencies of single-family properties pursuant to programs operated by these agencies, sales of properties by nonprofits approved to purchase HUD-owned single-family properties at the discount with resale restrictions, sales of properties acquired by the seller by inheritance, sales of properties by state and federally chartered financial institutions and government-sponsored enterprises, sales of properties by local and state government agencies, and sales of properties within presidentially declared major disaster areas, only upon insurance of a notice of an exception from HUD. The restrictions I've just gone over, and those in 24 CFR 203.37, they do not apply to a builder selling a newly built house or building a house for a borrower planning on using FHA financing. All these exceptions listed obtained from FHA Flipping Rule Regulation 24 CFR 203.37. Now, keep in mind, these rules apply to FHA loans. Buyers who qualify for loan products could obtain financing and other options. These include conventional Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loans to 97%, Home Possible, Home Ready, VA loans, USDA rural loans, guaranteed loans, unbelievably no money down, renovation loans, not FHA 203K. Want to do more improvements? Although other loan programs do not have such flipping rules, lenders may pay attention to details when a short ownership period is in play. First, underwriters will specifically verify the purchase as a true arm's length transaction, meaning there is no collusion going on between the buyer and the seller. Furthermore, underwriters review the appraisal thoroughly to make sure the home supports the value. FHA Flipping Rule transaction documentation. Can a buyer start the qualification process without being under contract? Yes, we can do that. Keep in mind, if you decide to purchase a flip property, it is the date of the contract that causes the previously mentioned restrictions. We can go ahead with the borrower's review process while waiting for the property. Here is an FHA flip list. 1, pre-approval needs to be needed for the buyer. 2, copy of the seller's recorded date. 3, a list of improvements of the property. 4, use of a date calculated to satisfy required dates. And 5, a fully executed purchase and sale agreement. So in recap, basically it comes down to, if it's been less than 90 days, this is where it comes into effect. And then it's 91 to 180, more than likely looking at a second appraisal. For more, you can reach out to me at www.talkwithmarkloyd.com, 207-478-2065. And as always, you can apply at my website, www.markaloyd.com. Thank you.